oriental hornbeams, Carpinus orientalis. We started working on this about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a multi trunk. Unfortunately, last year one of these trunks died, and now it's a double trunk. Not so bad either. Okay, we could have started right away with that double trunk. Now what we obviously will have to do is we have to curve this here, so that it's credibly going into the overall design. We cannot possibly leave this ugly stump here. Speaking about carving, you can see here the old carving, and it looks pretty good already. Why? Because the color is dark now. The color is silvery, very much like the bark here, and nature has started to do its thing. It's starting to decay, and if you continue a couple of more years, or 5 years, 10 years, it will really rot, and then you can brush it, and it will look like it was always like that. Sometimes you work with a bit fire. Anyway, it's a good example of how to use this kind of material and live with the fact that you will always have big wounds. Now this wound, I think, looks pretty cool, or at least will look pretty cool to me. It will always be a wound. So if you don't like this kind of thing, then this is not good material for you at all. I happen to like it. Okay, where is the exact front? If you have a twin trunk like that, many people would think that this must be the front. It's not good. Do this or do this. You got me? Do not take this as front. Do either this, you look at this, at him here, at the big one, and see him in the back, or the other way around. This in front and this in the back. I think the second one, in this case, this, to me, is the better front.
What do you think about some suggestions to cut one of those trunks?
I know that
by half or totally?
Yeah, well, I've seen that on the internet, that people tell you. Why is that? Because they have learned about bonsai design that this is not a twin trunk in there. The twin trunk must be lower to the ground, like here. Okay? Well, it is a big fat tree which happens to have 2 secondary trunks, or 3. You see, this is the main trunk, the fat one, the primary trunk, and that splits into 1, 2, 3, used to be 4 secondary trunks. And this is a tertiary trunk, the fat one. This is not a branch that is too thick, it is a tertiary trunk. Okay, so with this concept, of course, you must keep all of them. And I wish there were the 4th one. If you take this one off, you are creating a very silly sort of tree. Or you take this one off. But they have this bonsai design in mind. We're not designing a bonsai here. We're designing a tree. And the form that I just spoke about does not exist in the bonsai books. It's the informal broom form. The informal broom form consists of a thick main trunk that splits into secondary trunks rather quickly, which again split into tertiary trunks. And the overall crown is round, often usually wider than it is high. That's a typical form of a very old deciduous tree all around the world. It only has not found its way into the bonsai books. It does not exist in in my bonsai book. It does exist. It's not printed. So is this a problem? Yes, it is a problem. We will have to rewrite the bonsai books. It's that simple. It cannot really be that the most normal form is not in the books. I mean, that's simply, that's a mistake. We got to change that. So, if you understand that, then you understand why I say all these suggestions to cut one off is just wrong thinking. They have never understood this new concept. It's not very new. It's about 10, 15 years old when I started this. Okay, but now for me it's already old and settled, and more people understand it. But still, the regular bonsai student, especially in America, by the way, they have no clue about this. We are in Europe much more liberal about rules in general, like the way we are driving and the way we are behaving. And a rule is more or less a suggestion anyway, especially a bonsai rule. Americans believe very much in rules and in the written word, and a rule is a law, and you're not going to break the law there. This is why Americans will have a real problem with this sort of design. But that's why we make this video, in order to get this word spread that there is another way, especially with this kind of material. Because without that concept, you would probably not even like that kind of material. I think it's world-class material, but only if you have the right philosophy with it, and not their bonsai philosophy. And by the way, what I'm saying is not very strange to Japanese people. They accept it, they understand it, and they would readily say that, oh, that's good. It's not exactly my taste, but if that's your taste, go ahead, do it. So, if we are in Europe and we are doing European design, you bet. We're not trying to mimic Japanese design with a tree that's not ready for that anyway. Okay? Thank you. Walter was just pointing out that another option is not only to cut off one of these, but to make one shorter. Why? Because they're both the same height. Well, yes, it's possible. You can make this one shorter. Why this one and not this one? Well, this one has very nice taper here, whereas this has the problem of not having much taper anyway and being a bit too straight. So it is possible to make this shorter here or here. Would it be better? Well, you can do that, decide that by doing a virtual and with Photoshop and erasing this, you can see. Fine. Do you have a wedge, a wooden wedge, something to put, or a piece of wood?
No, but we have a log.
Take a piece of log. Okay. Where?
There.
This? Okay. Fine. Okay. The advice that you get on the internet is to cut one shorter, right? Mm-hmm. And my advice is to plant it in a different angle. And what is the result of that? That one is shorter and the other one is higher. How about that? And the tree that was static before, now all of a sudden has direction. How about that? That, of course, is slightly too much. So this piece of wood is a bit too heavy.
Okay.
Maybe we have a smaller one. That's okay. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So this is a bit better, but basically we only want to speak about the idea. Mm-hmm. So for my personal taste now, that looks better than before, and we have solved this problem of being the same height. Now you see. Now that's a good example of what is the difference between an academy and a school. You see, in a school, you learn like small little children. You learn the basic rules, which are important. And at one point, when you have learned all these rules, then you forget them. Because then is the time to go to an academy. And then you learn something else. You learn philosophy, you learn design in general. And all of a sudden, you learn, for example, to just tilt a tree, and you have solved the problem. I mean, that's so simple, it's really a wonder that nobody has suggested that, right? That's the first one. And it took me 5 minutes to come up with that idea. And now it's crystal clear. Why did I not come about that early? Anyway, it's that simple. And in a new pot, maybe you even have then a wilder sort of pot. This is a very tamed, rather classical pot. You could take a radical Grobelny pot or whatever, on a slab. Okay, yeah. Are you happy now, Walter? You
But
say
I short.
you would still shorten it.
Yes.
Okay,
some part.
you could of course still shorten it if
And
you.
if we pot it tilted like this, and if we shorten it just a bit, probably up to here,
Yes. Yes.
it is much,
Yes.
even...
Well, I don't say what you say. Is it okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Walter, just come here and, and look. Tak.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, clear. Because why is that? Because we always had the problem of this being too straight and having no taper. So to make it shorter, we are not really solving that problem, but we make this for lesser evil. And by tilting it again.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, great.
Good.